Hello and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is May 21st and we're over here next to my fourth space elevator and my first one with the extended module actually installed. So I just finished putting this guy together. Really the whole reason I made this one is and made this one the one that has my Mark III motors, or at least my first set, is because I am short on infinity still. That's basically what the name of the game has been for me for the last little bit, is the game is not kidding with how much infinity you need. So for example, one of my current mini goals as I work towards my bigger goal of the wireless plasma network is to make this assembly line Mark II. That way I can make a proxy hatch thing. This guy, the crafting input proxy, mainly because I want to try it. It seems like it's awesome. And technically, this wouldn't be a problem to craft if you look here. Not too bad at all. A little bit of infinity, but as you can probably tell from this one sensor, I have tried to craft it. And that's because I forgot it needs a Mark II module. The Mark II module needs the Mark III motors. See, motor Mark III to work. And this guy, if I go to craft even one right now, I'm 4.1 million infinity catalyst short, and this is with all the other stuff I've done to help boost my infinity, but at the same time also technically using it more, so this kind of came down as a compromise. So I've kind of learned from my previous one, and a lot of this stuff just shut down, so there's that, but that's okay. Basically what this guy is going to do is, this one is pure Mark 9 drones. Let me get off the memory stick. You can, if you don't know, you can use this guy to copy settings across different multi-blocks. But let me throw that away so I don't mess anything up. Wonder which one I'm short on. Oh yeah, I went through Niquata alloy drills like it's nothing. This is definitely the slow point for this. Actually, let me double check one thing before we keep going. Make sure I actually have it going in the right spot. Alloy. Okay, it is in the extrusion machine. Good. I want to make sure for that before mess around with anything, because there is a slower, slightly more expensive. I guess it would technically be faster recipe, but is a little more expensive, which is the molecular one. But we can run it through the exclusion. Now, the reason I did this one as the Mark III is just because, I don't know, it was the new one and I didn't want to disassemble anything currently. Technically, like I said, I want to use the assembler, but I can't even craft a single assembler Mark II. So basically what I'm going to do, the Mark III motors unlocks 3 extra things. I'm going to put the Mark II assemblies over on this little guy for temporarily until I have enough infinity and can healthily craft a bunch of them, so I can throw them over onto this guy where all the other, basically swap out all the assembly machines over here and get better parallelization going on. But for the moment I only want to craft that one thing on the Mark II assembler, so I'm not too worried about just having one of them over here and making it kind of like a band-aid fix. And then as you can see, I've already got it set up for future expansion. The other thing was I know item are just from the infinity catalyst and some of the other things that keeping resources up, especially with how expensive everything's getting, is going to be a big thing. So I figured I will do my first expansion over here. My next set of motors will probably go on to the pumps. I'm sure there's other things I'll probably need to consistently pump. One of the things I did sometime in the last few days was I did finish crafting out the different pumps, so I'm actually utilizing all this. I don't have this one turned on because there's nothing particular I'm short on, so it's just kind of like a bonus one at the moment. But I'm sure I'll need more, and maybe even some parallelization, because even if we look into here, Xeon isn't kept up all the way. So just as an example, I probably should run this pump as Xeon over here, but that's fine. Yeah, so underneath here, I've got basically, with the new configuration for space I'm working with, I just pre-set up all of these modules being space miners eventually. As you can see, I've got all the data cables run, everything colored, like plenty of space down here to work around. And then really I probably could have done a wireless thing over here, since I'm only literally using 2 channels, because obviously the output from this guy goes over to our ore processing. But yeah, this is just my same quantum computer that I have underneath the other one powering the 12. Instead I just went with 2 to power the 24 whenever we get there, even though technically it's a little overkill at the moment. Honestly, if I'd been smart about it, you know, I shouldn't say if I was smart about it. I like the way this is laid out to not be too crowded everywhere. But in reality, I could run off one right now and then just turn on the other whenever and use a little less power. But that's fine. They're just running at UV, so it doesn't really hurt anything to burn longer. Yeah, so that's this guy. So one of the best ways to get more infinity is through the dimensional plasma forges, and I can't remember if I talked about this last time I made a video. Basically what I've done is on this forge over here, I've got a level emitter set up for resplendent catalyst, and every time it builds up enough, it turns this guy on and makes me molten infinity. And then I do have the molten infinity going right into ingots at the moment, just so that it's actually getting utilized in recipes and speeding things up. Though technically, eventually I won't do that. I'll just use as many molten recipes as I need, including the ingot, but it's just not sustainable for me at the moment. So it's nothing too crazy going on. We got only 600 in the bank, but I'm hoping with the space elevator set up, because that is literally just set up before finished crafting, we can get some infinity catalyst going. I did put this infinity catalyst into a level emitter so that I'm making some extra as we get more actual infinity catalyst in, so that I also making passive ingots the more expensive way, just to try to build more stuff up and keep it going. As you see, I'm keeping up with dust and ingot at the moment, which are both needed for different processes in the base, like grade 8 water and Naquata 5. Over here I basically set up 4 laser engravers that are all running for resplendent catalyst, which is the catalyst being used for infinity, as well as technically hypogen whenever we craft it, but I don't have any crafting at the moment, I believe. And then down here on the mixers, I did use a bunch of infinity to make more UEV hatches to be able to run these guys at more parallels. Again, this one's making the resplendent catalyst, and then I think this guy's just shut off because these aren't keeping up, but I don't use exotic catalyst at the moment, so I'm not too worried about building a backlog. I'd rather use the power to get more infinity to be able to kind of like push forward. There are a few like bigger crafts I want to do. For example, I'm basically set up to create the deep dark portal, which I want to do, and set up a bunch of void miners there, because that's just even more resources, including infinity catalyst, but it's like every resource in the game. It would just be nice to throw like 32 void miners there, and just kind of leave that and just keep building more resources. But at the moment, can't do that because we are short infinity, as you see. Not too much for it, realistically, 1 million. Although I do need 4 UIV field generators to craft it, which this one also not too short, so I think I should be able to request those crafts today. Now that I've got that space elevator set up, it'll just probably take a little bit to catch up my backlog and stuff, because I know I have UIV circuits passively crafting, which need infinity. UEV circuits, same thing. Although I'm also like on the side, you can see all these BioWare mainframes, like every once in a while just keeping the craft going. And let's see, I know I've got a bunch currently in backlog crafting just for more UEV circuits. I got 800 going because I haven't really bumped up those circuit lines, which I could probably do now, because the other thing I did was out in the desert, I upped some of the power of a lot of things going on over there, which technically also uses more infinity, so you know, everything's a give or take. I also was tired of balancing out for NAC 5 whether I was using Tiberium or chromatic glass. So I do have chromatic glass on a level balance, and I believe I've shown this off before, but basically the molten aquatic glass comes from the forges, but this stuff eats through it pretty fast, and I didn't want to eat through my actual chromatic glass dust, which is right here, because this stuff is really slow, and you use it for crafting optical circuits. So I just have the forge passively crafting it, and then it kind of feeds into here, and then I just basically have a red hatch with the Tiberium recipe, and then 2 black hatches with all the same stuff for the minus the chromatic glass that I get through the forge. And then so when the forge is running and I have enough catalyst going, I get cheaper NAC 3. When it's not going, I still am getting Naquata 3, but and not like shutting down the thing. So I don't really have to, I shouldn't say not have to worry, but I don't have to be as paranoid about letting the game run and running out of fuel, because it should, this guy should keep going whether it's making a lot fast or a little slow. That's okay. So this is all up, and then on top of all that, because I knew the space elevator, I mean, you saw all that cabling that was underneath there. I knew that was going to take me a hot minute to set up today, plus work's been busier, which whatever, that's, you know, no big deal. It's just I knew it would take me a little bit to sit here and wire everything, because you do have to paint all this stuff. It's not this I'm sure that maybe there is a faster way to do it, but this part was pretty slow. So I did, if we go here, set up a bunch of Void Miner, or not, Void Miner 3s on Anubis, which this is the place, one of the places I think it's the only planet that has Infinity Catalyst, at least for the large vein. Yeah, tier 9 Anubis. I actually would have done this sooner, but in my head I was thinking you got Infinity Catalyst on Horus with these Void Miners I have going, but these Void Miners are getting me Nether Star. And what's actually kind of nice as a bonus between the two of these is between Anubis and Horus, we actually get both Leadox, Callisto Ice, and yeah, those are the two I'm thinking of. And with both of those, I don't have to worry about super coolant anymore, or using phthalic acid for the bee to run those, because these are way faster than the bees, unless I like really spam the bees. So that's a nice benefit. I'll actually have to make sure at some point that I do have super coolant still passively being crafted, because we do use a lot, and I imagine we'll use more. Yeah, I got 17 Gs, so I'm pretty sure I'm good. And my hot super coolant's starting to build back up. And then just generally throughout, there are just a bunch of random little things here or there that I've been doing. For example, I showed this off last time, but I did the tungsten line because I was short on tungsten. I can actually turn this back off because I do have a ton of tungsten now, which is good. I did swap over one of my QFTs to be the adhesive one. That way I can work on, I don't remember what the item's called. I did throw a terminal up here so I could look in here so I wouldn't forget. This stuff, the hyper-stable self-healing adhesive, because this guy is needed for crafting the tier 2 of this guy, which then the first one I'm going to do for that will be netherite, because netherite, I wasn't paying attention and this actually shut off, so I ran out of netherite, and I only figured that out because I was going to build a third one of these to instead of just throwing the adhesive one in here. And then I was like, oh, I don't even have enough netherite to craft one of these. So I got that line turned back on. I think it'll be smart for me to push for a tier 2. But again, the only problem with the tier 2 one, if we look at cosmic shielding, for example, is one of the things, and I believe we need 142. But for every cosmic shielding, We need, oh, excuse me, I'm clicking on the wrong tab. 2 dense and super infinity plates, which is 128 ingots by itself, and then a field generator, which is obviously all this stuff, and UIV circuits. So I'm pretty close to being able to craft one with my passively built up UIV circuits, but obviously that's going to be really expensive. It will be really nice though, like it'll be worth it. But again, more focus on getting a lot of infinity in so I can start making these bigger crafts. I'm trying to think, I feel like there was something else I was working towards as well. Oh, totally random, but you need cheese for the dark portal, our deep dark portal, and I did set up the ability to craft cheese ore because I tried using this right here where you're the best distance is, I wonder if the calculator's wrong or I misread it. You know what? Cheese. Oh, I'm just a dummy. I think I had the wrong one in there. Never mind. I was like, this wasn't working for me. Turns out for some reason I misread it as 61. I don't know why, as the distance is what I'm referring to. But now looking at it, that couldn't fit. It's actually 181. So that's what I'm about to describe was completely unnecessary. So I should have just turned that to 181 and let it run for a bit. Instead, I ran a meteor ritual using cheese, but that's okay. If I decide I want to go for more hearts, I have cheese available to autocraft and stuff now. So, but you don't need very much. You only need it literally to make the deep dark portal, and then I don't think it has any other use besides, you know, some cooking recipes. So that's fine that I goofed that. But yeah, that's just kind of rambling. I'm sure that, like I said, there are a ton of other little fixes, slowly swapping out muffler hatches and maintenance hatches and stuff, so I never need to touch those specific things again until, of course, 2.9 comes and the sheer amount of multi-blocks that are going to change, which will be crazy, but that is probably a good few weeks or so more out that I'm aware of. But anywho, that's I will stop rambling now and I'm gonna go make dinner, and then we'll see how much infinity catalyst I have. I mean, in that little bit of talking, got 50,000 extra, so that's a good sign. Let me actually craft nope, I can't craft a bunch of those. Let me just craft 2,000 of these. Yeah. I just want passive infinity going. But yeah, I'm gonna let that build up while I eat dinner, and then my next immediate goal will be the Assembler Mark II, so I can play around with the proximity hatch, because if it works the way I think it does, it's going to make mass spamming some machines a lot better and work on improving crafting speed. But yeah, appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will maybe see you tomorrow. If not, I will be back Monday. Have a good night. Goodbye.